My wife and I went for a checkup, and they found out she had stomach cancer. I went home to my parents wanting to sell the house to save her, but Mom told me, I can give you the house deed, but there's one condition. Tell her you're the one with stomach cancer. I didn't get why Mom said that, but to save my wife, I did it anyway. That same night, my mother-in-law showed up at our place trying to convince me to get a divorce. She told me not to drag her daughter down. My wife also said, if you really love someone, you shouldn't hold them back. I just stared at her, couldn't believe she'd say something like that. When she saw I was frozen, she looked at me super seriously and said, you know what? Cancer treatment isn't as easy as you think. Go online and check out those cancer families. In the end, the money's gone and so is the person. By then, to save you, we'll have to sell the house, sell the car, borrow money everywhere, and in the end, we still can't save you. My mother-in-law said, after you die, what's gonna happen to my daughter? I looked into my wife's eyes. I asked seriously, is this really what you think? She said, I just want you to stop being so selfish and think about me too. You think wanting to live is selfish? She sighed and said, all I know is if I had cancer, I wouldn't drag you down. I'd divorce you and deal with it alone. My mother-in-law said, I know you feel wronged, but what did my daughter do wrong? She's still so young. How's she supposed to live the rest of her life? Right then, my wife suddenly pulled out a divorce agreement. My heart went cold. I just told her this news and she already had the divorce papers ready. I picked it up and looked through it. This was straight up a predatory contract. After the divorce, not only would the cash be split in half, but the house would go to her too. All I'd get was the car, and I bet the only reason she left me that was because she can't drive. She said, take a look, and if it's good, just sign it. Then we'll go to the courthouse. I said, you think this is fair? My family bought the house. Why should it be yours after divorce? My mother-in-law jumped in. Don't you remember when you married my daughter? I made it crystal clear. You had to have a house before we'd agree to the wedding. I said, yeah, I remember, but we're getting divorced now. She got all worked up. That house is my daughter's security. It's there for exactly this kind of situation after marriage. Now you're actually sick, so isn't it totally reasonable for us to take that security? I gasped. Never thought that's what they meant by security before the wedding. I said angrily, no way, I'm not giving you the house. I'm just sick, I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I give it to you? She said, you won't even give me one last gift. Before, whenever she made that pitiful face, I'd just feel bad for her. But now I just felt disgusted. My mother-in-law saw I wasn't budging, so she softened her tone a bit and said, giving my daughter this house isn't just for us. Later, if something happens to you, someone's gonna have to help take care of your parents, right? My wife quickly added, yeah, I could help take care of your parents later. I looked at her coldly. Right then, I wouldn't believe anything she said. After all, before we got married, she'd already said she didn't want to live with my parents, which is why we bought this house in the first place. I laughed coldly. My parents don't need you to take care of them. She nodded. Fine, then we'll see you in court. I gasped. You know I have stomach cancer now and you want to sue me? My mother-in-law huffed impatiently. We tried being nice to you, but you don't get it. Had to make us spell out the ugly truth, huh? You're already sick. We'll drag the lawsuit out for a few years until you're dead. You think you can hold on to those assets? She got more and more worked up, even pointing her finger at my nose. And when you're dead, your old man and old lady will have to sue us. You think we're scared of them? My wife said, Mom, don't fight with him. Let me talk to him heart to heart. She held my hand, her face looking all sincere. She said seriously, let's switch places for a second, okay? If I was the sick one today, I'd leave most of the assets to you too, because I'd want you to take care of my parents after I'm gone. My mother-in-law quickly said, exactly. Look at my daughter's awareness. Now look at yourself. Aren't you embarrassed? What the hell goes through your head all day? I said, I'm thinking about how couples should face hard times together. She shook her head. That's so naive. I didn't get it. I asked, how is that naive? She said, facing hard times together sounds fine on the surface, but bottom line, you're dragging me down to get through your crisis alone. If I stay with you, I'll waste my youth, my savings, end up old and broke. And when you just float away from this world, you'll leave me with nothing. Is that what you want? Listening to her, I felt like knives stabbing my heart. I sighed. I said, between husband and wife, how could it be a burden? We made vows, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, we'd stay together. She said, you're thinking about this way too simply. Let me tell you what'll happen if we don't divorce. It'll be horrifying. I didn't understand how is it horrifying, but she looked dead serious. At first, I'll stay by your side for treatment, but as time goes on, the savings get smaller, we go into debt, sell the house and car. You think our life will be good then? She saw I wasn't saying anything, so she kept going. Eventually, you'll be so sick you can't even walk, and I'll have to carry you to the hospital. We won't have a car anymore, and when it's raining, I'll have to carry you on my back on the bus. Maybe even change your diapers. Day after day like that. Wouldn't you feel guilty? I couldn't help but say, treatment still has a chance. If we get through this crisis, things might get better. She snapped back, why should I bet my entire life on a probability? That one sentence made my heart completely freeze. She said, if I win the bet, fine, but what if I lose? Losing means my whole life is gone. You keep saying face it together, but isn't that just selfish? From start to finish, you're just thinking about making me sacrifice. As she talked, she actually started crying. I'm a person too. Before you think about wanting to live, why don't you think about how I'm just a person too? I want a normal, happy life. My mother-in-law quickly handed her tissues and patted her shoulder, comforting her. He's so ungrateful. From beginning to end, he only thinks about himself. Never considered your feelings at all. My wife cried harder and harder, finally breaking down completely. Why should I bet my whole life, decades, on your probability? Just because you love me means you should drag me down? I watched her crying, thinking about everything she'd said. In that moment, I finally understood Mom's good intentions. She said, right now you've fallen into an abyss. If I could pull you up, I would. But I'm really too weak. If you keep holding onto my hand like this, you'll just drag us both into the abyss. I smiled bitterly. You're right. If we've loved each other, we should think about the other person. No need to drag them into the abyss, too. Hearing me soften up, my wife and mother-in-law exchanged glances and said excitedly, "Good that you understand. I'm not asking for divorce because I'm cold-hearted. It's precisely because we loved each other that we can't let it get to that point." Just then, my phone suddenly rang. Looking at the text from Mom, a plan quietly began forming in my mind.